done. We are live Tuesday at 7. Well, it's actually Tuesday at probably like 7:10 or something. So thank you guys for joining us.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Buckle up, because we are going to talk about art. We're going to pour some absinthe, and we're going to share, we're going to swap some stories, maybe have some meaningful conversations. And we appreciate everybody joining us as well. But I'm going to come on the other side of the camera, and we're gonna wrap with you guys. But Loren, we've been down here at your studio 3 or 4 times, I think, for Tuesday 7.
Yeah. We always have a good time here, and the absence helps.
Well, yeah, and the absinthe helps, and what a great space. What I want to do is give the folks just a few minutes to sign on, right? And then from time to time, it's Virginia, Loren, and I today. It is March 2026, because we're going to date stamp this, because there could be people watching this in a decade from now, and they're going to look back and say, what the heck was that great conversation?
Yeah, that's always a good idea.
Yeah.
They'll look back and say, well, Loren looked so young back then.
Well, and they always think, oh, I'll remember. And then, no, we don't remember.
But from time to time, I'm going to get out of the seat, I'm going to go back to the camera, and I'm going to go back and take a look at comments, questions for folks as well. But thank you guys for joining us today. Tuesday 7. The idea comes back from The Artist's Way, if you've ever heard of that book. The Artist's Way was a book written in the 70s. Cameron Diaz, I'm not sure the author, and shame on me. Hopefully somebody will maybe post the author's name, The Artist's Way. But The Artist's Way was a kind of a way of life. And he says, you should journal first thing in the morning. Get up, brush your teeth, grab a pen, and journal. Even before drinking a cup of coffee or, Diet Coke or whatever, journal. But the other thing that The Artist's Way suggested was that once a week, you're selfish and you spend some time in your own artistic space, whether it's out on your own, it's not with a spouse, or not with a loved one, or not with a child, or not with a parent. It's, I'm going to just focus in and grab an art. So Tuesday 7 is kind of The Artist's Way. It's kind of my selfish way of going. I get to be with some cool people, doing some cool things once a week, Tuesdays at 7, and it's been a most incredible ride. But we want to encourage you folks to share.
And the people who get to do this are equally enjoying their selfish thing being with you. You're a cool dude.
Collaboration.
Yeah, I've watched a couple of these since the first absinthe, which I just kind of stumbled across, frankly. It's really interesting to hear it's like different people who do different kind of art talking about the experience of making art. And there's all these similarities. It's like I like to find that what's the common denominator.
Yeah, I don't know that maybe there's a book out there. Hopefully somebody can direct us to it if there is. There's that love language book. You're like, this is your love language. I've come to the conclusion there's an art language. And I was like, we probably all think similarly. We're all artists. That is not the case. I've discovered over 450 sittings with the most incredible people. I've got folks that go, I think in sounds. I don't think in images. I think in sounds. Mm-hmm. Or I think
like those people who see numbers and colors.
Yeah.
5s are red.
And that's what. With the my philosophy and belief system, that book you're talking about, is that everyone is an artist. You don't even have to call yourself an artist. If you're a human, you're an artist. Because I believe that artists, what art is making an aesthetic choice where there's no right or wrong. That's all art is. And what good art is someone who does a lot of aesthetic choices in one area that they love. That's my definition of art and artists. So aesthetic choices can be shopping at the mall, picking out clothing.
Yeah.
Do I want black pants with my green shirt, or do I want red pants with my green shirt? You make a choice. No one can say you're wrong to do that. And this person said, I like this, and that becomes art. Just as a painter says, I'm going to put a stroke of yellow on this abstract expressionist painting, and I think next to it should be some red.
Is perfect, and it's a perfect segue for us to detour just a moment. Last week we interviewed with Renata, the interview was fascinating to me. Ren is one that says that the motivation when behind a canvas is to express an emotion. It's not image driven, it's emotion driven. And so blank canvas, emotion, sit, and then push the emotion into some type of visual realm. Mm-hmm. And that's just not how I create. And so, Ren, thank you for sharing that. If you shared the video from last week, Ren is giving the original piece of artwork. It's a small, so it's perfect for a bathroom, a kitchen, for another wall. He's also giving an enamel pin, a wearable thing.
Nice.
You know, the wearable art as well.
Yeah.
But it was a great interview. And Virginia, I'm going to hand this over to you because Loren's picked several winners. So we're going to talk about you being the winner here in just a moment. But if you would pick the winner for the Ren original artwork, the small and the lapel artwork as well, the enamel pin, and I'm going to get rid of this.
Are you going to read it, or am I going to read it?
Yeah, if you would read it.
I'm going to read it out here. Eric Duhan, Duhan.
Yeah, doing.
Yeah,
he's doing good.
Yeah, doing good.
Doing good.
Yeah, exactly. So, Eric, thank you. You have not won yet.
Oh.
So this is the first time that he's won. I'm just circling back here. Guys, thank you for jumping on. We see that folks are already live. This is going to be a great episode. But Eric, thank you for sharing. Ren, thank you for the artwork. We're going to come around and let me go back to one of Ren's responses, and then we'll leave that idea. But I think it's a perfect segue for the conversation we're going to have tonight. And in the first question, I asked Ren. I said, "What does art do for you?" And he said, he paused, and with clear articulation, he said, "It's kind of like I am arts." Like it's and so not in a way that an aesthetic choice, what we wear, right? Our state of being, which might be somewhat a Rick Rubin, the art of being. That I don't know that we can separate it from us. In other words, it's not here; it's here.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
My environment is my art. The way I set things up, how I choose my place to look, how I choose to dress, what art I choose to look at. It's all about who I am.
Yeah, it's how we create our life is our art. Even if we're a person who doesn't do any specific art, is the pepper on the right or on the left in your kitchen? That's a piece of aesthetic choice. How do I there's a lot of different ways to make art. It can be just for pretty, for your eyes. It can be for your ears.
And I
don't know. I ramble, but I kind of hate to say this, but for me, it's kind of like throwing up. It's like something's in there; it's got to be out.
That's. I mean, that's profound. I know that's profound. Just going, you have to release it.
It just has to be out, and getting it out makes you feel better. Mm-hmm. So, that's like.
Some of the work I've created is like throwing up.
Well, I was not commenting on the outcome at all. I was really just only commenting on the process.
But actually, what related to that, though? In order to become a good artist, you have to make a lot of bad art. Because you have to experiment. You have to try things. And if you don't try things, you're not going to advance your art. And you will never become a great artist. You need to actually make bad art. You need to say this doesn't work and learn from the mistakes. Which they're not really mistakes anymore. They're just part of the process. Yeah.
When we met last, Loren and I, and we had a talk, and it was artist and absinthe, and we're going to start with an absinthe pour here. Then we're going to talk for, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. We're going to take some questions from the audience, digital audience. If it's recorded, you're not watching it live, still put those questions out there because we'll get back to them. And we want to encourage you to share. In the very bottom left-hand side of the screen is an arrow. When you press that arrow, Facebook will prompt you as to what to do next. You can save it to your friends list, which we hope you do. You can also send it to a group. It'll say Facebook group. There's ours at 216, the 440, the 330, the 409. There's all kinds of great artist groups that that I think would benefit from the sage discussions that we'll have. And but when you share it, we'll know. Next week, we're going to draw a winner. And if you are a winner, we're going to go into the Tuesday at 7 vault. And we're going to pull some artwork and some other merch out of there. So if you win next week, we'll make sure that you get it. You know that we had a winner today. He's going to win some original artwork from Ren. But the last time, when we offered out a prize, the next week we pulled Virginia's name.
I was so lucky. Here I am. I'm at this interview. That was one of the things. And Loren's going to do a portrait. We don't know what's going to happen with that, but I just feel like, come on.
So Loren offered a portrait. Mm-hmm. I offered an absinthe spoon. So after we pour our absinthe, and after we start to kind of talk and and talk about artwork, our experience, take questions, we're gonna have a good time. But I think, and Loren, had you had absinthe prior to our last time together?
I once had a little tiny bit somewhere in a restaurant there, and I don't remember where. I don't remember where I had it, but it was a tiny bit. But I remember it was. I didn't really understand it all the way. You made me understand it better. It's more than just. It's a ceremony.
Yeah, it absolutely is, and the reason why I kind of dig the whole absinthe thing is I dig it for several reasons. One is it felt as, first of all, it's a bit dangerous, perhaps, because absinthe was illegal for over a century. It's dangerous, and I think there's something dangerous about artwork. In addition to dangerous, absinthe was also kind of a thumbing of the elite class back in the day. So absinthe was drank by Renoir and the hooligans, right? The artistic hooligans, because it wasn't the same, expensive wine, which, if you're in Paris, you drink wine, or, with the hooligans, you poured absinthe.
I would say that we're in good company with what
we're in good company here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand this to you, Loren. I'm going to grab this camera, and I'm going to bring it up. So absinthe, let's show you the absinthe. We just opened this. Scott Brocious, we do our absinthe order once every 18 months or 2 years. This is what we're trying today. We just cracked it open. I think this is German. If you know, let us know. If somebody will look it up.
Is that the tag with the writing on it, with the German writing? On it?
That's a good point.
We should offer a prize for whoever pronounces the name of that absinthe correctly.
Yeah.
By the way, do you want me to get the lid for this so the ice doesn't spill all over as we pour?
That would be great.
All right, I'll be right back with that.
So this is European absinthe. We put in a great order, but absinthe was illegal for a decade. People would claim that the wormwood or the thujan inside the wormwood was something that caused hallucinations. We may be skeptical about that, but we're going to talk, and just like the Toulouse-Lautrec and the poets and the artists 100 plus years ago, the Impressionists, we're going to discuss art over a little bit of an absinthe pour. And we appreciate everybody jumping on. We see everybody out there. Mario, Alaska, Christine. I know that Lisa, responded. Art is all around us and in us. I agree. Thank you, Beth, for sharing. Daniel, Paul, everybody, thank you for jumping on today. We're going to have a meaningful conversation. But what's cool about absinthe, we poured this absinthe into these absinthe glasses. They're not just ordinary glasses. They're glasses blown specifically for the consumption of absinthe. But I'm going to go ahead and what I love about absinthe is not only is it dangerous, not only was it thumbing, our fingers right at the upper class wine drinkers,
elite.
Yeah, the elite. It was ritualistic.
Right.
There's a ritual to it. So it's kind of like play. It's like playtime prior to, and folks would say on absinthe, sometimes the muse would visit, the green fairy. And so we're going to experience that. If you would, Loren, if you would pour some water right over the ice cube, or right over the sugar cube. The reason why there's a sugar cube there is because the absinthe, the wormwood, is bitter.
You want me to do this one here?
Yeah, let's do this one.
Now, how much water am I going to be putting?
Just maybe, just pour it until I say when.
All right. Slowly?
Yeah. So hopefully what we'll see is the lutein property, which is the releasing of the green fairy. See right there? Bing.
More, or that's good?
That's good. Do you see how it lushed? It went from
glass, yes.
Yeah, it went from a clear to a cloudy opalescent.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they call it. That's what they said. That's where green fairy. That's where the chemical properties of the alcohol changes. That's the lutein of absinthe. But if you would go ahead and pour the rest.
On the other two, or
go ahead and pour on the other two.
Okay.
Let's see if you can here to get a real close look at.
Okay, I'm going to move your lighter because so we don't soak it. Say when.
Keep it going. There's that lutein property. Now, before you pour that last one, that's good. Now, if you would, light that sugar cube.
This?
Yeah.
Light
on the other one, on the one that we haven't poured the water into
light this sugar
yet.
cube? Okay. Leave it
All
burning?
Right. Yeah, just let it burn. Oh. So I don't know that you can see with the lights down. Is it burning there?
Yeah.
Oh, did you remember we did the different lighting in here? Would you like more dimmer lighting?
Maybe for round 2.
All right.
Maybe for round 2.
Keep doing this?
Yeah, that's perfect. Good.
Bubbly.
All right. It's good, Loren.
Does that mean stop?
Yeah, go. You see how we're bubbling there?
Yeah.
And it's lit? And we can't see it because the lights are still up.
Oh, yeah. I feel the heat from it.
Feel the heat from it.
Oh, yeah, it's burning.
The old school absinthe drinkers did not light the sugar cube. They just poured it in. But the soaking of the sugar cube and then the pouring over, that is a newer practice. It's caramelizing. It adds some flavor. It's kind of added to the ritual of the absinthe pour.
Oh yeah, the absinthe, the alcohol in the glasses.
Yeah, you'll even see there. So go ahead and give that a blow. You can just
blow it out.
Yep.
Okay.
And then go ahead and pour the water over that. So again, just a modification to the practice of absinthe drinking.
It's like various ways to do the.
Yeah.
Say when.
You'll see as soon as you get that louche, which is the cloudiness.
So you can stop.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Stop?
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm sure looking down from the top, you can't see.
That one's a little more toasty looking.
A little more toasty looking. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and join you guys. We're going to do that absinthe toast, and then we're going to get down to the topic of art. And have a preference. So, do you have a preference? Do you want the caramelized? Do you want the less caramelized?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know which one will I like better.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to drink the caramelized.
Okay.
And go ahead and give that a stir to stir in that
That's how we
sugar.
do.
Yeah.
Just lift that up so nice. And,
I'm going to wipe this just so.
Oh yeah, I never worry about coasters and stains on coffee tables. It sort of adds a patina.
Adds a patina. That's right.
My whole space is about patina. All right, so that's stirred up and good.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we just set our spoon
You
like
set
that.
your spoon down? Yep.
Oh, I got your microphone.
That's right. So,
tastes delicious.
like the old impressionists. Here's here.
Here. Yeah, there.
Absinthe.
Oh, that's lovely, actually.
So it certainly has a bunch of different herbs in it. But if it's a typical absinthe, it has a real heavy anise, like a black licorice.
Yes, definitely
Feel
licorice.
to it. You can see that the differential, between mine. Mine's very toasty compared to the rest. Again, it's just giving kind of a smoky, flavor, which I love as well. But here.
Yes, that's delightful.
Here and
Here.
in the here and now.
Yeah.
And super sweet. Take the alcohol right into your system.
So Virginia, I'm going to start asking you. So, have you ever sat for a portrait? Because you're going to be sitting for a portrait.
When I was an itty thing.
Okay.
When I was young, and then again when I was 9 or something, 11 maybe.
A drawing of
Yeah, the 11-year-old one was a New Orleans guy that did pastels.
Yeah, was it on the street?
Well, he was. Yeah, basically. I mean, it was outside. It wasn't street.
Right.
Through into his little space between the building walls.
Yeah.
My mom had one done, and I had one done.
I used to work at Geauga Lake doing
that.
Yeah, doing the pastel portraits.
Really?
Yeah,
Sweet.
they were 5-minute portraits. They were always from the side view. The reason for that is it's a very quick process. They were in 5 minutes. We had to do the whole portrait.
Yeah.
Right.
So you would draw the person's profile line to start, and then the basic shape of their head, and then you take your colors and smear them in there, and 5 minutes later they had their portrait for $10.
I bet you there's some people here that might have said, I sat for a Jugga Lake portrait back in the 70s.
Maybe it was Loren.
Maybe it was Loren who did that.
Yeah, I was I think 21 years old when I did that.
Yeah.
Something.
That sounds fun.
That's only like 5 years ago.
So like that.
Right.
What did you learn from that process? Because you were forced to work quick. You were forced to sit down, draw strangers.
Yeah. Well, it made you had a pressure. You really wanted to do it in 5 minutes. People didn't want to sit longer than that. They want to go on the rides, and they wanted their portrait because it was advertised 5-minute portraits.
Yeah.
So it makes you look quick, and you get the important parts first. So that was a great. But in drawing, the mistake people make, amateurs make, is drawing details right away. So what you want to do is go for the big picture real quick. Squint your eyes and what's important. And that was a good exercise for that.
And make some corrections, right, as you're dropping down the form, and then fine tune later.
There was a one, I forget which artist. This was back in the 1900s. A famous portrait artist used to have the model upstairs and the drawing downstairs. And you had to run upstairs, look at the model, come back down, and draw. So, and the purpose of that was no one could sit there and draw details and remember details, but they could remember the big picture, what they saw quickly. Yeah. They come out and they were drawing the big form. And it also taught you, because drawing is actually memorizing something. Because when I'm drawing, I'm either looking at you. Let's say I'm drawing you. Yeah. I'm either looking at your face or the paper. Can't do both. So I'm memorizing real quickly what I see here, and then putting it down over here. Mm. So the more you are able to quickly memorize, the better.
Yeah. And there's also there's a releasing of compulsion around details. When you do art for like $10 for your 5-minute portrait, mm-hmm. Right, you have to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of things I know when I was younger and I was trying to learn to make stuff. The biggest problem was to let the damn thing finish, because it never is finishing like I thought in the beginning. You hear people who write novels and write poetry talk about that. I was making clothing and making bags and stuff, and even those never quite finish. You know, like the first three, you're still messing around. If you do production making of things, you've decided all those details, right? But when you're first making something, the finishing is a letting go. You're saying, okay, that's it.
Right.
That's enough.
There's something profound there.
Well, you know, the enemy of good is better.
It's better, right? And finished is better. and to finish something, refuse to return and modify or erase or add to it.
It's an acceptance, isn't it?
It is. I think it's. Let me throw it out there. Is it an acceptance of perfection? You know, kind of.
Meaning I cannot do better.
Or maybe I could do better, but it'll be maybe the next work.
This is what I did in this minute.
Yeah.
It's like that. There's a Picasso piece that's it's a bicycle seat and the handlebars. It's a bull's head.
Right.
And I saw it in a video when he made the thing. Somebody said, you know, how do you make art? And he just got up and picked up this and put them together and put them on the wall. Okay, so it's like our efforts are as big as they are, as important as they are, just as they are. They don't have. It's kind of an acceptance of humanity. Sure. All those Persian rug guys, you know, the people who make those beautiful rugs. There's always mistakes in there. They put them in there on purpose.
Right, because
I'm not God.
That's the human, and also that's the human element to things. The beauty, the imperfection. Yeah. You know, no one wants, even people they find attractive people don't necessarily look like a mannequin. Perfect. They have their imperfections are what make us interesting.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
Over the past couple of years, and it's interesting that you say that. So I went to Kent State. That wasn't my major, but I took a good amount of artwork at Kent State. So I had some great instruction back in the latter 80s. And I was graded based upon my ability to recreate a still life or a portrait, or they took us sometimes up into the taxidermy rooms or drawing the stuffed bears and pheasants and whatever. That's what we were graded on. And after I graduated and I started to kind of find my own voice, I deviated from that. And what I know, what I ended up doing is I was looking for asymmetry. And what I would do is try to kick that asymmetry further so that I could still capture the essence, and I could try to stretch that asymmetry as far as I could to still capture the essence, but then to communicate that we're not perfect, we're not symmetrical, you know, and that was a direction that I had gone. But I think that there is something profound. That's sage advice to say. Sometimes you just have to finish it and move on to the next piece.
Yeah, it used to stop me all the time. You know, I'd have this vision, and then I'd get into the project, and it would start to take its own path, or I wouldn't be coming out the way I thought it was going to look, and I would just put it aside half finished. And then they don't finish. And so how do you teach them to finish? Well, what you have to do is put it up and say, look, it's done. Yeah. Or all those answers are different every time per person. But every time I hear people put the should word in, like anywhere in life, but especially when you're talking about art, it's like I just.
Perhaps that just should be removed from our language, because
I would do that.
Yeah. Should you remove should? Should
we?
Yeah.
Can we?
Must we?
You know, here this is an interesting point about all art in general. If I had to generalize something, whenever an artist makes art, when they decide I'm making this art, something these are requirements to make good art. One, something about what they're going to do excites them. So let's say it's just portraits. One person might find that they love the dark shadows and the disappearing to the distance and the little highlights of light hitting. Another artist might say, I love the shape of her face or head. Another artist would say, I love the colors, the pinks and the blues and the yellows. Another artist would say, I love this person's features and I want to exaggerate them. Another person might say, I only want to show a little part of their face because that's what's interesting. The rest I want all covered in the dark. So that's just for portraits. But it could be abstract painting. I want to see the simplicity of a single line. I want to see a contrast of black and white. Whatever the artist is doing or is intending on doing, that is what the artwork is about. And you should continue that direction in making your art, that you're doing what it was about. And anything that is that's not that is distracting from what it's about. So stick to what it's about, and the more things you push about what it's about, the better. Now, that doesn't mean you can't, all of a sudden you might discover, oh my gosh, now I was going for these darks, and now I want this portrait. Now I'm interested in the outline shapes and this and that. I switched because I discovered something doing this. You can change what it's about, but when you change what it's about, you go that direction and don't distract it with things that aren't, if there's an object behind you that's not necessary, don't draw it, don't paint it anyway.
20 some years
That's what we're here
ago.
for.
Yes.
20 some years ago, I did a good deal of poetry, writing, and performance, etc. And along those statements, I mean, I had the good opportunity to mix with some great poets, very talented poets. And what I was doing was I was finding ways to extract all the unnecessary.
Right.
My poems started getting shorter and shorter and shorter,
And better.
and better. I had a piece, which also became a visual piece, which was a single letter. I'm like, what can I get? Like, is this word necessary for this writing?
Can I throw this
No,
away
okay.
now?
Is this word necessary? Is this word necessary? No. And I'm like, is this letter necessary? I got down, my very shortest piece was a single letter.
I love it.
And so I think that whether it's writing or music or art, you're like, is it necessary?
Get out if it's not.
And and sometimes it is, but sometimes it's not.
Yeah. Or sometimes it embellishes what is necessary. That's okay. You can leave it. It supports it.
Yeah.
Like maybe a song could be this and that, and they add a little ding ding in the, little cowbell or something.
Once in the whole song, they pull out something and they go, ooh. Happens once.
Yeah.
Never happens again.
How's
You're
it go?
looking.
Dolby sound, right?
Something different.
Listen. I remember back in the 70s. Right, when I was born in the 60s, I would put earphones just so I could hear some of those single nuances.
Yeah.
Whether it was the Doors or Pink Floyd, the Worms Ate Into His Brain. There's a dental tool, a dental.
Like there's one
drill.
thing in there. It's after the second verse, before the third, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I listened to, by the way, it's we were same era, Doors and Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd, Beatles. I had a couple older brothers, and so they kind of forced me to listen to their music.
Yeah.
So I developed a.
well, that's what was playing in the house, right?
Those were playing in the house, and they were bigger than me, and so I listened to that. To their, I was even right. We turned the vinyl. We put the, somewhere between the 33 and the 45, and
you would play with
put it in neutral, and I would spin them backwards.
Oh,
like the Beatles.
The Beatles 7,
number
Didn't
9.
that
number nine.
didn't that ruin the needles?
Probably.
I mean,
Maybe. All I did was I just kept doing it. Actually, I don't think they're meant to be played backwards. Needles were, but, which I think is apropos to talk about vinyl, since our conversation went in that direction.
Sure.
Like, vinyl has made a resurgence.
That's what I have heard.
Why do you think that is?
Because
Why do you think that is, folks?
Because of the ritual of coming
that's
to
right.
your music.
I agree with that. That's good. The
Because
ritual.
the ritual of
Right.
having the record, feeling the record, looking at the record, don't touch the record.
And we're bringing the past back into the present in a new way. They do it in a new way. And just like they want to make a new Ford Bronco to look retro, but it's brand new and it has new technology. But you're enjoying a little bit of the beauty of what was once before.
But the ritual of vinyl, I think you nailed it, Virginia. When you're like, okay, so you pulled it out of the sleeve, right? You didn't touch that. You held on the sides.
Right.
You put on the turntable.
Make sure keep your hands off that.
You don't touch it, right? And the spinning.
You have your special little velvet thing to get the dust off.
Yeah. The dust.
You have your special little brushes to clean the needle with. You have to be super careful with the needle. My dad was an audiophile, and all the paranoia is like still in me.
Yeah.
Like how you handle that, but yeah, that is the ritual of it. It's funny this day and age. People get their music. I don't even know where people get their music. Right? I mean, I know in my head, and
everything's digital.
Well,
right?
I know, and I've put a bunch of music up digital, but it's kind of super disconnected. It's not the same as the record. It's not even the same as the CD.
The physical record was cool.
And it slows you down, that whole ritual thing. Like, my New Year's resolution for various reasons was to stop some of my habits, such as alcohol and tobacco. So this is my first alcohol since New Year's
Oh,
Eve.
this should be good then.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But what I am aware of, this is gone out of my life part that I'm aware of, has a lot more to do with the ritual than it has to do with the substance. Like the tobacco and the alcohol. I'm not caring that I'm not ingesting those. But what do I do with my time that I spent on the ritual? So, there's a lot, I don't know. It's fun. This is sweet.
This is something different, right? I mean, so whether it's vinyl, whether it's seeing the spinning record, whether it's the don't touch the vinyl, hold the sides, whether it's, I would tuck mine inside the sleeve and then turn my sleeve up.
Yep.
So somebody held my record, the vinyl wouldn't fall out.
Yep.
And then I would the great artists, the cover work.
Oh yeah, the covers
was a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Well, and you would get your new records and you would sit and look at the whole thing.
I always found
every word.
I always found the magic in when I loved an album. It was just the music. I just loved it. When I love music, I really love music. That all of that music is in this piece of plastic. It's brought out with little grooves on a needle. This piece of plastic holds all that music. It would always amaze me. It's sort of this. Anyway,
Ben Smith is Ben Ferrari. Ben Smith is a friend of ours, of mine, a great member of the Tuesday at 7 community. The reason I'm bringing him up was because Ben has a passion for cutting vinyl albums.
Oh, he does it himself.
Does it himself.
He got the equipment.
So what he does is he pulls an old ice cream truck up. Inside that, my understanding, Ben, you have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they record something like digitally, and then they cut a single vinyl album. And so he's taking kind of new school technology, taking it back to the old school physical vinyl album.
We lost a lot in sound when digital happened. A lot. 75% of the noise, 75% of the sound, which means all the overtones and undertones that combine and make your little finger tingle instead of your index finger. Just gone, out of there. Now at the time, it sounds so clean. It's so much more clear. Well, it's more clear because most of it's gone. It's thin, is what it is. It's thin.
Oh, I like that. It's thin.
It's thin. So now, and I'm no expert on this, but the studio guys that I've worked with, they're like, oh, now we've got this stuff that digitally can make it sound more like it was an analog piece of equipment. Like I remember tube amplifiers and the warmth and the rich, right? And then it was gone. I'm like, what happened? So that's why I remember all that stuff. Because in the '80s, that's when that was kind of happening. But now they're making the digital engineers, the electronic are figuring out how to get it to sound more like it used to be. And then this resurgence of vinyl. When you would have your friends over in the new record and you'd spend a whole afternoon to listen to 35 minutes of
the 3 or 4 songs and you flip it, right? And then you go, okay, so we're going to take album 1 and we're going to turn it over and go to side 3, side 4.
And then we're going to turn it back over to 1 because it's been half an hour.
So Ben is the downloader, and he says download. He says he came to the vision. He says, and it felt like a download, like it was outside of his capability. He downloaded the idea of the splice cream truck. It's where the splice cream truck was.
I love it.
He drove up in my gosh, like several states over, found the perfect former ice cream truck, brought it back, painted it, armed it with the digital equipment and then also the vinyl lathe. And the splice cream truck is splicing people together by telling stories and recording it on a single vinyl album. And so the whole idea of living in a digital world, and he's very analog, his artwork, his music is very analog, but there is something magical about an analog life, which is what we have experienced.
Right.
I kind of agree when you say the analog life, that there could be anything other. That there could actually be life in digital makes my heart ache.
Yeah.
Because so much of it is gone, so much of the richness is gone.
I'm coming around just because I want to check. Thank you guys. There's a whole bunch of people on here. Daniel.
Hi, people.
Yeah, thank you guys, everybody, for jumping on. David, Skullhead. He's usually behind the camera here. Daniel, Paul, everybody's on here. Thank you for jumping on. We encourage you guys to share.
Anybody is on here.
Everybody who's on is on here. And if you're not on here live, you'll be on here watching the...
Find us tomorrow.
Yeah, you'll find it tomorrow, right? Or you'll be watching it on YouTube in a decade from now.
Which can make you a somebody then.
We are testing some European absinthe, and Scott and I ordered this. And we're going through the ritual of drinking a little bit of absinthe like the Impressionists did over 100 years ago. And we're just talking art, and we're going to encourage folks to jump on, ask questions. Loren's like, Roger, either I like your cologne or I don't like your cologne because I'm sitting awfully close, so I'm in frame. But before we leave the topic of music, you and I share not only the 70s, and I want to explore some of Virginia's, her love of music, those artists. But I want to talk, because we also share, a desire to, have our Cure play, often and such. But what were some of the artists that were meaningful to you? I'm going to shoot this to Loren. I'm going to go to Virginia. Meaningful to you, and how does music play a role in your artist being?
Okay, so now when you say artist, are you referring to musician artists?
Musician artists.
So growing up, what did I listen to?
And or even now. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I would say I originally, of course, learned of the Beatles. My father brought home Meet the Beatles album, and that was my first Beatles album, and I loved it. And from there, I eventually started hearing.
Never realized what a kiss could be.
Is that on that album?
I'm not sure if it's on music.
Anyway, yeah. But so anyway, then I went in. A little later, I discovered Led Zeppelin and Ozzy Osbourne. What was that? What's his name? The band.
The Black Sabbath.
Black Sabbath.
Black Sabbath, right?
Oh yeah, Black Sabbath. Anyway, that was like whoa. Now, then a very pivotal moment. I went to camp once. Maybe I would say I was 5th grade, and somebody had one of those reel-to-reel, and it had really good sound to it. It was a reel-to-reel
Wow,
recorder.
a portable one that they brought to camp. Wow.
And they played Inagata Davida, Iron Butterfly. I was like, whoa.
That didn't have any words, did it? Wasn't it like?
Oh, yeah, no, it had a little bit. Inagata Davida, baby.
So somebody link that so we can listen to that straight from this interview.
That had one of the most famous drum solos, probably second most famous, first being Wipeout. But second most famous drum solo was from the song Inagata Davida.
Yeah, you can still do it on your leg.
Anyway, it's a very great drum solo. Anyway, you have to listen to it on the recording.
No,
but anyway, that was a very that's where I start to enjoy the psychedelic aspect of music, and then from there I went to Pink Floyd and of course more Led Zeppelin. That's when I also got into drugs. You know, I did
smoked psychedelic aspect of
did
music.
some acid. Went to Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and Jethro Tull, and Jethro Tull was really cool with the flute. He was great.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Ian Anderson, is that?
Yeah, Ian Anderson. Yeah. So anyway, I listened to all that music. A lot of great bands. Todd Rundgren I liked, who was more of a local. I mean, he was great.
Oh, he was famous. You think,
yeah.
Was he from Cleveland?
He was from, I thought Pittsburgh maybe, or
you said more of a local, and I'm like, I knew who he was. So
yeah. I mean, he was local.
Yeah.
Anyway, Todd Rundgren did a lot. You're right. I mean, he was very famous. But anyway, so then from then of course now I branched out. Now I'm getting into college and things like that. I started appreciating Peter Gabriel, and then I love cultural things. So Peter Gabriel did an album with African singer. Actually, his name was Youssou N'Dour. Was the name of the African singer from Senegal. And I remember Youssou N'Dour opened for his concert, and then the two performed together. That was mesmerizing. I specifically drove, actually, within the last 6 years, I drove all the way to Cincinnati to see Youssou N'Dour.
Back in the day, that was not like 3 hours. That was like probably a 5 or 6 hour. That's an all day trip. Really.
Yeah. I drove all the way there. That was about 6 years ago, and it was a fantastic concert.
That's just 6 years ago.
Yeah. Because
okay.
I discovered Youssou N'Dour through Peter Gabriel, who I loved, who through the band Genesis, I think he was originally. But anyway, so that's my music. Now, the second part of the question was, how does that?
How does music play a role in your creating or your being now? In other words, do you create in silence?
Oh, I love that.
Right?
I am weird like that. When I paint, draw, anything like that, I do not play any music. None. Zero.
Silence.
And it's not because I have to cut. It's my brain only thinks on one thing at a time. And when I want to hear music. Yeah, actually, when I want to really hear music, two things I like. Either driving in the car, and I could just sit there and tune out and drive. I hate it when I'm with somebody and they decide to start talking while I'm right in the middle of just lost in this album.
Listen,
Your big bag of shit.
You just interrupted the song, that kind of, right? That or sitting in here and I have my speakers and I just listen and I get lost in it. And I'm not thinking about drawing. I'm not thinking about the aesthetics of paper or paint or whatever. I'm thinking about, wow, this music is beautiful. That's art. It's beautiful. Now, and then when I'm going to drawing, I'm looking at the beauty of what I'm looking at and thinking about that. And my whole being is paying attention to that. I don't want to be paying attention to a band that I'm listening that I love. So I separate things very much.
Yeah.
So I'm weird like that. A lot of people say, "Oh, I like to play music when I'm painting."
I don't think that's weird. I think that's specific and individual. But it's also like, how are you supposed to hear the wealth that spring? How are you supposed to hear that bubble of spring if you've got all kind of noise behind?
Yeah, I mean it's a different kind of noise, but to me it's equal art. In fact, if I were to do life all over again, I might have been a musician.
Oh.
Maybe. I find that visual art and music affect me very differently, but they both affect me very much. I love a beautiful piece of visual art, but a beautiful piece of music can make me like swell up in tears.
Move us in a different way.
Yeah, it really makes me emotional. Where a beautiful drawing or painting, I can go, wow, that's beautiful. And it's done. I just see the beauty in it. But the music can hit my heart more.
In a different way.
In a different way. So, I mean, that's...
Virginia, what about you? So, like, some of that, the music that, inspired or bridged those difficult times or were part of your development as an individual or as an artist, what were those musicians?
So it's hard to put that in a little nutshell, right?
I agree.
Because there was a piano in my house, and when I was really little, there was a guy who played just no music. One of those sit down and just play. So there was that, and then there was a record collection full of jazz. I mean, like I can see the cover. I think it's Duke Ellington. It's a black cover and two white hands on the keyboard. Well, white because everything else is black, so you have to. Anyway, and so there was a jazz collection of records, jazz and blues and stuff like. Quite marvelous, actually. And then there were lots of musicals.
Back in the day, musicals were everywhere, right?
Rodgers and Hammerstein, Oliver. I can still sing a lot of the songs from Oliver just because I listened to him so much. My girlfriends, when I was young, they would get up on Saturday morning and they would get involved in something like before I was even out of bed. So at the time I was calling from the regular landline, everybody was off in their day. So I spent a lot of my Saturdays, with the record player and my dad's collection. So, and then of course the Beatles.
Were you an early Beatles? Maybe
I was an early fan.
Yeah,
my next door neighbors.
1964. I saw him on Ed Sullivan.
That was in '64.
Sure was.
Wow. Well, anyway, my next door neighbor's cousin was from Britain still, and sent her the introducing the Beatles before anybody over here. Right? I watched them on that.
What were some of your early Beatles favorites?
I Want to Hold Your Hand.
I Want to Hold Your Hand.
I Want to Hold
Norwegian
Your
Wood.
Hand.
A Follow the Sun reminds me of one of my. So I'm talking about the
Good Day Sunshine.
Yeah.
Not after they
not after they grew their hair and started to.
That was Sergeant Pepper era. That's when they got psychedelic more.
Yeah, and you were talking about
they
something
actually
else.
They stopped trying to perform because they couldn't hear themselves on stage.
Oh.
And they just went into the studio instead of trying to perform because the performance seemed to become such mayhem for them. And they couldn't hear themselves.
But I remember a pivotal song that there were pivotal songs that they did. There was one flat top beat.
Up slowly.
What song is that? Come Together.
Come Together.
Yeah. So that's on the White Album, right? Isn't that on the White Album?
I think it's on the White Album.
So that's like after they left trying to be live. They left trying to do a live thing, a live band. Because they were a live band. Live little band playing in the grotto. The life of the road musician plays them little clubs night after night is not. It's not a nice life. Not an easy life. It's hard. It's physically difficult. It's be emotionally. Oh my God! I'm still playing these same little funk clubs, and nobody's paying me, and maybe I'll get a per diem tomorrow and have some food. So it's art like that level of musicians. When you see them up there and you think they have given their life because they can't help it. It's all they can do it's the only thing they can do that makes them feel like
alive,
hooked up and alive.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about art that I think is the same for all these different artists I hear. It's like when I can let that flow, then I feel like I'm alive and I'm connected with God, whatever feeling alive means.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
We have a number of musicians that are renowned and folks that are just they're musicians. They often say there's a need to perform. There's a need to create music, and I can see. I mean, and I might say the same thing if I had to turn back. I'd be heavy into maybe the music side because it moves me. And if I'm moved by somebody else's work, like maybe
I could move somebody.
maybe I can move somebody with my work.
Really, and maybe it would make their life a little better.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be nice? So for me, as far as like playing professionally, I had a boyfriend who was into reggae music, and it started to lift me up out of my late 20s, like serious depression. Coming one foot in front of the other, who feels it, knows it. And I'm like, I could actually play that. I'm not like a hot player, but I spent 6 years playing rhythm. Like after, we performed 5 nights a week. That was a short week.
Sure.
No, it was.
Yeah,
It was like 800 miles a week
Mhm.
on average for 6 years. It's a lot. But the places that you're spending your life, it's like now I don't smoke cigarettes anymore. I miss the dumpsters because that's always where you had to go to smoke cigarettes.
Stepped out,
You step out to
right?
your dumpster.
In the dumpster.
I don't know.
Before we move on, should we pour another short one? I don't want a short pour or long pour.
Sure, yeah. Here,
He's the slow guy.
I'm the slow one.
Yeah, I have. So we're going to pour a little more, and I see that Virginian. So
I want one like that.
you want to try the toast?
Yeah, I'll do that smoky one too.
Oh, we'll all smoke.
Oh, before we do it real quick, I want to make a point. Well, what I think here's a wonderful thing about art, something to note, is when an artist like develops something, whether it be a musician, a comedian, which by the way, I'm getting into that. But
And I want to talk about that too.
And learning, he's learning.
So anyway, a painter, a drawer, a musician, a guitarist, a singer, whatever have you, and they work it because they love it. They're developing it. They're making these masterpieces. Then we come along and we see it. Now we had no idea of what they did to get there, but we see it as we see the developed part of it, and we go, "Wow, it's genius." Where really the genius is in the effort behind it, but we see the wow aspect. So that's what that's what makes art great. Is they've worked very hard to present to us what we see and enjoy the fruits of it, the fruit of their labor, their work, their passion to make this, and we see it as impossibly to do. How did they do that? It's how did they do that? How did that comedian come up with that joke? It seems so natural and easy and free and fun. And how did that artist draw this quick drawing? So anyway, that's one of the things. So by the way, before you do all that, shall I change the lighting?
Yeah, let's change the light.
I want to make sure that it works.
I could see the flame against your T-shirt, but when you put your hand close, then I couldn't see
lights on.
the flame anymore.
I'm going to come right by you here.
Yeah, that's all good.
There we go.
I keep hearing these should words, and good art, and it's funny. It's like I keep thinking. So how do we choose what's good art? And what's what is that choice about? I know I have really strong opinions. It's burning.
Is it burning?
Yeah, I can tell when I get it against the black behind.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up on the shoulds.
I just hear a lot of shoulds and a lot of what's good art and what's not. I don't know, where is the line between craftsmanship and fine arts?
So tell me if this is that good or not good?
Yeah, that's
That's
good.
pretty good.
You like that?
You could turn off the kitchens or
Turn off the kitchen?
or the dining
Maybe
room.
the kitchen like a little bit.
Maybe the dining room.
We're good.
Good?
Yeah.
Is this like blinding you though?
It's kind of annoying. It's kind of annoying, yeah.
Actually, we can absolutely see the ritual of lighting the sugar cube.
Is that better?
That's better.
Oh my goodness, that's it.
That's excellent.
Right
Yeah.
there. You want the kitchen light on or off? Or?
No, we're good. You can actually kick them back. Let me see. Maybe we'll kick them off for a bit. This is some great lighting.
I think we need more.
Yeah,
we
kick
need to
it
light
up just a notch there, Lauren.
I
Yeah.
think we need to light the sugar
That would
cubes.
be the chandelier over here where I get more light.
So for those that are just joining us here, kind of our midstream here, we're drinking some absinthe with Virginia.
I would turn that down. I like it down.
Yes, the hammer has to get some light.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
Let me do,
So you have to ask Roger.
yeah. Here, let me,
Yeah, turn up just a little bit.
okay, I'm going to add this light here. Like,
Oh, goodness.
okay.
So right here we're drinking some
There she
European
goes.
absinthe, which we believe may be German.
Turn it up a little bit.
Yeah.
All right.
And we're talking arts. Virginia, do you create? I'm not sure what your medium. Do you have a favorite medium or
Well, these days it's music.
music?
I like
So
medium rare.
I'm
Medium rare music?
okay.
No.
These days I'm back to music. I was into music in the '80s, and I not really fiber arts because I work more with leather.
We'll go ahead and
than-
pour them in, and
Oh, we gonna
Give
light
that-
these first?
we already lit them.
Oh, we lit them. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I missed
Yeah,
that
we're
part.
gonna caramelize them.
You want to caramelize?
Yeah,
them?
yeah, a little
Yeah.
more caramelized.
All right,
I
let's
think
do it.
everybody. I was interested in the caramel.
We'll get you.
Get you soaked back
guess
up
what?
again. Is that how we do that?
Yeah, but guess what? We're gonna have to toss another shirt keep on there.
Oh,
Here's what
no.
I'm gonna do. The absinthe is so high in alcohol content.
It's not. It's 68%.
Well, it's enough to light on fire.
Because
Right.
it's thick, but it's sweet. There's
Yeah.
the sugar too.
You know what? So we're gonna have to light one more. I'm sorry because that one didn't burn like the other one did.
Oh, that's beautiful. No, it's like
There we go.
burning from everywhere.
Nice.
And here's what I'm gonna do. Watch this. There are no rules in art. Here.
No, there are no rules.
Here's what I'm gonna do.
They're not. It's like I have a little ditty for the Church of Art.
Cool.
Let's go there for a moment. Church of Art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've all spent a little bit of time, meeting. What is the intention, Loren, Virginia, and why do you participate?
I participate because I'm a lonely ass artist out in my farm all by myself. In my life that I designed all for me, and now like
It's off.
it'd be fun to have some other people to talk about too and stuff.
So my concept of the Church of Art is, remember I mentioned that we are all artists.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now there's this saying, you might have heard it before, great minds think alike. Have you heard that?
I've heard it. I'm not sure that I'm even a fan of that statement.
I'm glad you said that. It's totally the opposite. I disagree 100,000% against that statement. Great minds are unique thinkers. And I believe that we are all artists. We are all unique. We all had different upbringings and we had different experiences. We all are creative in different ways. So I believe that the idea that we all have our art comes
lighting?
from ideas and thoughts,
I wanted to caramelize.
and then producing that, making art of it. A lot of people have great ideas and they never act on them. So I have this one I kind of agree with. Ideas without action are like action without ideas. Both are useless. In other words,
Good point.
we have hundreds and thousands of ideas all the time, and they never mean anything. Can I borrow that lighter? And then so the concept of the Church of Art is that we get all our great minds, our different great minds, and share them, share our thinking, share our ideas. Then we can also share our labor, our skills. One person might be a good filmmaker, another person might be a good carpenter, and another good person might be a good musician. And
Grant writer, right?
Grant
Finance,
writer,
all those
yeah,
different
yeah.
pieces. Yeah.
And what we're doing is what we do is we all become one group, one band, if you will, one Beatles, not John Lennon, Ringo Starr, Paul McCartney, and George Harrison. We're the Beatles.
Yeah.
The Church of Art is the Beatles, where we all produce masterpieces as one unit. And we agree on them, we discuss them, we come up with ideas, we interject changes on them. And that's the whole concept, is that and I believe that a group of 20 people, 30, whatever, however it grows, can do better than one person alone. I may have a great idea, but with 10 other people saying, oh, how about you change it to this, and how about if you do that? Wow, I never thought of that. Yeah. And so now we're taking the combination of these people and making it the piece of art. And when I say piece of art isn't just a painting or a drawing or a sculpture or a public piece. Art could be the feeding the homeless. It could be walking through Walmart all wearing red clothes, in a single file and causing a ruckus, and people look. It's what do we want to do that's fun and exciting and gets attention, and people look at and change their day, make their day say, "Wow, look, I saw that," and "Look, I saw this on the news." And then the last aspect of it is, as artists, we produce art, we want to share it. And the ultimate sharing would be for a lot of people to see it. So we are trying to make public art, and we want to be noticed on the news, and we're going to be sending press releases. And so that's the whole concept of, in other words, in a weird way, I'm exploiting all who join the Church of Art, but they are all exploiting me too. We're all exploiting each other. I guess exploit might not be the best word to use, because that means taking advantage of in a bad way.
Multiplying our audience.
We're multiplying our group.
Collective audience.
Yeah.
I think you need to take a different approach.
Oh, here. Let's
change the definitionals.
Yeah.
And say,
So
okay,
go
let's
ahead
use
Go ahead
the
and
word
give it a stir. That's why we got that spoon.
Exploiting is a fine word. Using is a fine word.
Here, let's capture this.
Useful and being used.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
They're the same thing, right? To one person, you're just being useful. And
You want me to add a little? Here, I'll add a little noise.
did you get a good ting?
Yeah, let's get it. And even the sound of the spoon stirring in the sugar cube is, adds an aesthetic.
I like the smoky one.
I do too.
Yeah, I see that. That's good.
The Church of Art, right, is and what we want to do. Let's borrow upon that whole concept, which is what we're doing is we're hoping that the folks that watch this will share this video. On the very bottom left-hand side of your screen, there's an arrow. When you press that arrow, Facebook will prompt you as to what to do next. But when you share, the data suggests that when somebody hits the share button, 100 more people see the video.
Nice.
So 10 shares, 1,000, 20 shares, 2,000, 50
share.
shares. So please share. And what we do is we try to just push forward, because when you share, that's a value to us. But when you share, there's an opportunity to win. And so if you share it and your name is pulled next week, you'll get something from the Tuesday at 7 vaults and some Tuesday at 7 merch in as well. So we encourage you to share. But the importance of collaboration. As a person who likes to make stuff, I find the idea of collaboration a little bit of an anathema. It's like, oh, really? Somebody gets to say? Well, no, wait. I mean, I think it's an appropriate thing to break out of, right? Because it's
Where would the Beatles be? How about your bands you were in? You collaborated with the drummers and guitarists.
Kind of. I mean, everybody's situation is different, but it's like, I don't know. For me, when I started writing songs, I thought I liked them so much compared to all the million songs that are out there that I thought that I wanted to produce them so that other people could share at least the outcome, the product, right? They can't really share the process, and it's the process is just the reason that I like to do art, because it makes me feel good, like I did something.
Process versus
Product.
product. I mean, that's an interesting.
Well, and right there in process versus product, you come to this other thing that I keep listening to us talking tonight and hearing references to like good art or not such good art and all the should words.
Shoulds or
process versus product. I mean, if you have a product, then you can start assigning it like it's better than some other product based on some kind of, we all made it up and decided that we agreed, like standards. Right, so that's the thing about artists, and that it's like throwing up art. It's the same deal. It's like it's in you individually, and it needs to get out into the world, maybe so it doesn't hurt you, maybe so that it's good for everybody else. Whatever, it's in you and it needs to be out. Where I came from.
What? No, listen. I mean, there's something important there. First of all, I mean, we had talked earlier about perhaps having like different like art languages, right? And sometimes people would argue, and they could probably argue with great efficiency of saying, I think it's product. I think it's the process. Or I'm sorry, I think it's the process. I think it's the purging of an idea, of an emotion, of an image, of a sound. I think some folks would say, and sometimes it needs to be solo, right? Sometimes folks might go, I think it's collaboration, because sometimes the magic happens when you bring the four Beatles together.
Yeah. Right.
And some people might say, at the end of the day, who cares what happens inside the studio? What I would say is, what do we hang on the gallery walls?
Well, like when you read a poem and it affects you, or you read a novel and it affects you, or you look at a painting and it affects you. If you're not the person who made it, then how it affects you is totally separated from the artist's intentions, thoughts, feelings when he made it. If the artist doesn't make it, well, I don't know. I don't think that the artist makes their thing for the other.
No, they don't make it for other people.
Right.
But I do believe that the artist's intention can show in the product to the people who are viewing. So I'm doing a painting that I love the darks and the lights. And I'm doing a portrait and, just a little bit of light. I paint this portrait and I hang it in the gallery. Now viewers are going to go, oh, I love the darks and the lights. They see what it's about, especially if I did a good job making what this artwork was about. Now, I do agree
you considered a good job.
Now, of course, people's life experiences are going to, one person who, grew up in a dark house and hated it might not like that painting. I don't like that gloomy painting. It reminds me of my childhood. I want bright, colorful paintings. So the viewer is separate from the maker, very much so, but the maker also does send communication to the viewer, in my opinion. Especially
because the maker puts his heart into it, or her heart.
Yeah, right.
And so there it is. It's out there.
Yeah.
But you also have to let it go and understand and remember that those others that look at it or hear it or read it, they may not get out of it what you thought you were putting. It may be something totally different. Like you ever read a book when you're 20, and then you read it when you're 30, and you read it when you're 40, and when you're 30, you can't even find the same themes that you remember from when you were 20 that made you want to read the book.
Rick Rubin says, and he writes that the audience comes last. She says, so as artists, like we don't ignore the audience, right? No. Because
it'd be nice if they liked what we did, right?
But they come last.
They come last. Yeah. You get your producing for yourself. I want to make this. Yeah.
Right, and so sometimes our voice, right, is a necessary component. Maybe I think some folks find their voice really early, and sometimes it took me decades to find my voice, but audience comes last. What's interesting is I had shared before that I had wrote and performed some poetry years ago. It was very interesting because there were times that we would have open mic, in different places, Coventry and over on the west side, and we would give a writing, one of our poems, our metered writings to another poet, and they would read our work.
Ooh, what was that like?
It was. I mean, so as a poet, right? The intonation, the pauses, sometimes the punctuation or the absence of punctuation, absinthe of punctuation. All those things were such a necessary component, but like as artists, we're like, okay, so I wonder how you see it, but we don't know. But poetry, I hand you a poetry, and I hear how you read it. And it gave a different perspective as to what my poem might mean to somebody else, even if it's just their facial, their facial reactions, or their smiles, or their pauses, or their.
So don't know.
We don't know
how we. I mean, as individuals walking in the world, forget art, all that. As individuals walking in the world, we don't know how we affect it.
Yeah.
No.
Some of us have a better idea than others, but even the ones who have a really good idea. Like some of the most important interchanges for me between people have been with absolute strangers. Somebody I saw for 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And something about
Connected.
brought me to a place where I thought, whoa, that is not a way I want to act. One of these situations, I went into a bank, I wanted to send money. It was my bank, but I was out of state, and they wouldn't serve me. I was so mad. I read that woman that but she's just following the rules of the bank. I went out and I'm like, now we would call that Karen behavior. I didn't recognize it back then as such, but
You call it what?
Karen.
The Karen.
Karen. Got it.
Yeah, I'll call the manager. That's not how the rules. We follow rules around here.
I was really mean to her. Bad.
Well,
But I left realizing how mean I could be, which I had never left going.
I found it interesting. I came across somebody who said, we really live in a gray world. It's not black and white, right? And if we meet black and white people, they're like, speed limit is 55. Don't drive 56, because if you're driving 56, you're breaking the law. And I'm kind of like, well, 56 is not really breaking the law, because I know he's going to pull me over till I go over maybe 10 miles over. Mm-hmm. So the speed limit is not really 55, it's 65.
Right?
Or maybe it's 64, because maybe
the appointment's not really for 2; it's for 1:45.
Yeah, well, whatever it is, but I think that I use the word artists, or creatives, or rule breakers, or there's things that we find in common. There's folks that when there's 2,000 people or 3,000 people who watch, we have something in common, and that is we're not rule followers,
right.
Or we don't follow rules gracefully. Whether it's at a bank, who's just like sorry,
unless we see a real reason for the rule.
If we believe in the rule,
we believe in
the rule, then it makes sense. But I think rules are
meant to be broken. They say
meant to be broken, right? Or for well-behaved people, and we tend not to be well-behaved.
I know. Rules are for people who can't figure it out.
Fair. What do you guys think? Are rules for people who can't figure it out? I agree with that statement.
Well,
do you agree?
It's just so it's just so.
Yeah, I think that as intelligent beings, I don't know. You might question that what's going on in our world, but anyway, as intelligent beings, we have to also decipher ourselves to what extent a rule should be followed or not, and why, and we're not newborns.
Yeah.
So when there's no one on the road and you're driving 56 and a 55, I think we can decide there's no other cars on the road. It's a clear day. It's not wet outside. There's no snow.
90.
I can do 57 even miles per hour in the 55. I can go 60, and I'm safe driving safely because I'm intelligent and I know this is safe. But anyway,
haven't you ever made a piece of art where you just put that over there because nobody would think it would look okay?
Say that again?
Fuck it. Haven't you ever done a piece of art? You just said, I'm going to throw this. I got this idea. I'll throw that in. It's so like out of character for the rest of the piece, but I'm going to throw it in there anyway because fuck it. That's what I want to do.
Yeah. I've done that. Of course I have.
So I don't know. It's funny. It's like we all want to be whoever the Godhead sent us to be, the most that we can be. Like that. Which means we need to stop listening to the rules of everybody else.
Right. And listen,
but we have to get along. So
we're not going. It's not my. This question is an important question for me, and this is. I'm not going in the religious direction. I'm not going political direction. You've used the word Godhead a couple times. Of the artists, the 450 artists I've interviewed over 9 years, there are the large majority of artists would say sometimes we're a scribe. In other words, it's not us. If we get in the artistic zone, we're creating something that exists. We just happen to be the conduit to communicate it on canvas.
Or nowadays, what we call it feels like a download.
Feels like a download, which is what Ben Ferrari says, right? Or some folks would go, the muse. It was the green fairy. It's those folks that say, if at one time there was nothing and then bang, the universe came into existence, maybe there's something divine about creation.
Well, yeah.
Right? And so when I hear embedded into language of 3 artists who have been doing artwork and been in this world for, a few minutes, then I think that when I hear common language, it's the download, it's the muse, it's the divine, it's the Godhead. Like there's something really important to pause here. Yeah. I think before moving on, share with us.
This has been the funnest thing for me about listening to your podcast.
Yeah.
That is just hearing that concept. What is art? What is it? Why do we do it? And that whole concept of the muse, and it feels like a download. It doesn't quite feel like it comes from me. Like I sat down at the beginning of COVID and started writing songs, and because it was easier than learning other people's songs.
Yeah,
I'm older, and I should be able to just put out now instead of learning everybody else.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's what it felt like. It didn't feel like me. I don't feel like I have ownership. Like I didn't sit down and decide I'm going to write this song about this subject today. They just kind of drop out of nowhere. And if I pay attention to the little tiny quiet and honor it enough to write, then then maybe my partner comes in and starts playing. Oh, that's the music for this thing that I wrote the other night. But we've had things like that happen. Way cool. Like I'll just be sitting there and I'll start writing this thing. And 2 weeks later, my partner comes through and he starts playing just because he's playing. Oh, wait, that goes with this.
Nice.
So
sounds like a church of art.
Well, yeah, collaboration is a wonderful thing, actually.
Yeah.
Because, now, and loving something enough that you want to do something, as humans, we can really get in that space where. So, it's collaboration is, and he's right. Everybody thinks different.
25 years ago, I penned this, and it felt like a download, right? But the download felt necessary to communicate what. If you're not a creative, this sounds totally crazy, right? And we understand that. But the download was what ended up in one of my chapbooks, which was kind of a poetry, a meter writing book, memoir, and it was one cannot defend racism, nor classism, nor sexism, but the world separates, as it should, the creators from the spectators.
The doers from the watchers.
The doers from the watchers.
That's a really interesting thing.
The creators from the spectators. Like there is a divide. And so if you're watching here and you're curious to go, like there's something there that like I feel like I'm a spectator, but I want to be on the creative side.
Then make something.
Join the church of life.
Join the church of art.
Join the church of art.
Tomorrow. It becomes famous. You're not going to know until you make the darn thing. So make something. Right?
Make something.
That makes you a doer.
By the way, there's a little here. I got a little. This is about the Church of Art. Imagine a community of people. There's children, there's women, there's men, there's strong men, there's disabled men, there's all people of different physical strengths, all doing a task. They're moving all the rocks from that pile over to this pile. So you see the little children carrying. Oops, sorry. That's all right. You see the little children carrying a couple rocks. You know, three rocks, and then you see the strong guy with a huge sack of rocks, and everybody is working together to move all the rocks from there to there. It's this community all collaborating. No one's judging and saying, "Oh, you carried less rocks than this person."
I would have carried the rocks this other way.
Everyone is doing what they can. Now, what the beautiful thing about the Church of Art is, artists can be competitive, and they often can be. They don't want to have someone better than them there. For example, you know, let's say I'm a portrait artist, and there's a better portrait artist.
Well, they're scared that they're going to lose their vision.
Yeah. With the Church of Art, what we really want is the more talent, the better, because we are part of the project that we all. Our name goes on it. So if there's a great sculptor, and we're making a sculpture, and we just have a couple ideas towards it, our name goes toward that finished sculpture as much as the great sculptor. And am I making sense? The guy in the band who plays the triangle in the Beatles, Ringo Starr, let's say there's no drum part, and he did ding, 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 ding. He was part of that song that they made.
Yeah.
So the beauty of the Church of Art is we're a group of people. We're all equals. We share equal credit for the projects that are made. And so you're a small part of something big, but you're a part of that thing. So that's why we want to make great projects and our name goes on that project.
Yeah, yeah.
So by the way, I would like everyone who's listening to let your friends that are creative know about the Church of Art, to find it on Facebook. There's the Church of Art congregation where you can sign up to join, and you can join, and then you'll get notifications of our meetings and all that, and come make art with us.
We'll tag it here, so people can just press the button and discover, you know, the details of the Church of Art as well.
You may be very talented, you think. You may think you're not talented. We think you're talented. Come join us. Everybody is talented. We all have skills that other people don't.
Virginia, as we, right? I mean, if we were to add our collective art experience, we would probably hit over 100 years between the three of us, right? Over 100 years between the three of us. So so we combine that. I'm confident that we'd hit over 100 years. There's some really sage advice that's coming out of this discussion, but the bucket list of artists, are there things that if you were able to go back to your earlier self, where you'd say, jump in the mosh pit, perform comedy, create artwork, you know, pose nude for a sit, like, I don't know what those are, but are there some things that the folks that are watching, the couple thousand people who will watch it, they'll say, you know what, I heard that on a Tuesday at 7 interview with Loren, Virginia, and Roger, and they suggested jumping in the mosh pit. Our friend Craig, who often is behind the camera.
Hi, Craig, if you're there.
Craig said, I want to crowd surf.
Oh, you meant Craig behind the camera.
Is that like where you jump off?
Yeah. Crowd surfing.
Yeah, crowd surfing. And so, you know what we did? We threw him up. And he went flying at a Ventana concert in Cleveland down in the flats not too long ago. And
he crowd surfed.
Crowd surfed.
And how did
that's why the people all.
Yeah, we threw him up on the air. And like Craig is not a heavy guy, but he's like 6'2", like probably $190.
Yeah.
They threw him up. No, if he went.
Anyway, he landed safely.
And he landed, and like some bouncer pulled him down and put him on his feet, and off he went. And he's like, there was a bucket list, which was crowd surfing, which was an important thing. Are there any bucket list items that either you've crossed off that are still there to say, as I'm living my life, there's a couple things that I would suggest to make sure that you do? Before I answer, I'm going to feed a question, which is going to be besides posing for an art group, potentially portrait artist.
Are you asking us what we would like to still do on our bucket list, or are you asking us what we suggest other people put
Both.
on?
Both. So you may have already crossed it off saying, I posed for an art group.
Okay.
I crowd surfed, or I want to do this. So it could be on your bucket list, or you've already crossed it off your bucket list.
At one point in my life, I really believed that an artist should be able to draw a likeness of someone. That was where my mindset was. I was into portraits. They were beautiful. I was impressed. I was horrible at it and couldn't do it.
Wait, you worked at Java Lake, and you
yeah. I could do those, but
you were impressed with your work?
Yeah, no, not my work. I was impressed with other people's work. It was on my bucket list, and one day I said, I'm going to be a portrait artist.
Okay.
I decided that. I decided that's what I'm going to do because I love it too much to not be able to do it.
Yeah.
And I in my mind, I had a 2-year span that I would carry a sketchbook around everywhere I went and draw and take this class and this workshop and study with this and go to the museums and look at the old masters and read this book and read how to do this and how to do that. I made it an obsession, and in my mind it was for 2 years I was going to do that, and I did. And I became a portrait artist, and to the point where I taught portrait drawing and painting. So, and I was horrible at it before that. I was not any good.
You really were better after?
2 years of devoting my life to that. I not better. I amazed myself. I said, "Wow, I can do this."
And isn't that like the most coolest feeling when you you produce?
When I would go in a drawing group and get a nice likeness of the model there, their face, and people look at it and go, "Wow,
that looks like her."
It looks like her. I was like,
yeah.
And there were days before that, 2 years before, where I didn't get it. It took the work. It took the.
Doesn't even look like the person.
Anyway, that's my point.
Yeah,
So
the creative, curious folks that are watching here, you challenged us when we were talking about the Church of Art back last late fall. I forgot the if it was October, November, and you said you challenged the viewers that in 2026 that they on their New Year's resolution they should challenge themselves to be more creative in 2026 than they were in 2025, or perhaps cross the starting line to their creative selves, right? Leaving the spectator and joining the creator side. And you're suggesting that working out or eating healthy, you're like, it requires a practice, a discipline.
And you have to start.
Of course, to start.
You have to do it. You can't. I can say I can talk about all day long that I'm going to the gym next week. It's not getting me in good shape now.
Talk about all
doesn't even get you to the gym.
It doesn't get you to the gym. You can talk about it all day you want. One day I'm going to go to the gym. Sure, as you get fatter and fatter. Yeah. But when you say I'm going to the gym, you decide that, then you become that. So back to the Church of Art. It is still, what month are we in now? March?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in the first third of the year.
Yeah, we're
joining the Church of Art. Come make art. That's I would like more people to become part of our group. The more, the better. The more we're a team. The more brains, the more creativity, the more thinking.
Right, it's like
the more energy, the more we can create big things and it's our work. We own it. Anybody who belongs owns it.
I just think it's very much like now this Church of Art concept of Loren's, which I really like. I mean, I'm very much here. It's going to build. It's like we never know when we start something what it's actually going to be. Like we can go on a job interview and they'll tell us what our job description is. But when we get on the job, what does it actually take to do the job? That's not necessarily there in the job description and all the, I think I like the idea of this job. Then you get to the place where you have to actually do the job, and it doesn't come out or doesn't flow out or whatever. It's different. It's just. So I think the Church of Art thing is. I like it for a lot of reasons. First of all, church to me is like, what is that actually? It's a social organization.
That's what we are.
Yeah, it's like get together and
Have fun
with like-minded folks who they might not think like you, but they're happy to work with you, or willing maybe to work with you if they want to. And in an organization like what you're trying to build, it's like, well, some people will be involved with certain projects and some people won't, but we still have all our names on it. It's just interesting. I see Loren as trying with the structurals of this. He's refused to talk about them. Trust me, I tried. Because he doesn't want structure, and yet structure will grow. Like any organism, it grows. It's the same as corporations. Like they grow and they want to protect themselves. So there's like natural laws about things like that. So I don't know. I like the Church of Art thing. I like the church it's a social organization. It's like that part. It's sacred. I like that part. That sacredness of like the creative piece.
creation.
Yeah, is really a sacred thing. It's like, where does that come from? How did you choose F, G, and Y instead of B, C, and D?
Yeah.
And why does it affect me so
Profoundly. Stephen King, in his book called On Writing,
I read that book.
I read that book too, right? And so this wasn't just it wasn't Misery, Cujo,
Right.
The Dark Half, right? This was he wrote a book about his writing process, right? And that's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
It's called On Writing.
Mm-hmm.
In that book On Writing, he wrote a chapter or so about common questions he had received.
Mm-hmm.
And very often, folks would go like, "Stephen, like you come up with some twisted plots. Where does this come from? Like, where's the origin of this plot?"
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that the response inside that book was, Stephen responded, "I don't create plots. I create characters.
Yeah.
And I bring
remember
the characters together, and the plot writes itself.
Yeah, the characters do it. Yeah,
Character, and so the reason why I bring that up, the reason why it kind of jumped in, into my mindset with, a little bit of absinthe and creative discussion is the Church of Art isn't about creating a plot. It's about bringing characters together and letting the plot write itself.
Yeah, I like that.
Right.
That's good.
Right.
And I did literally come and sit with Loren and try to get into create some sort of formal
structure, and he's
structure. He's like, it'll work out.
We'll bring the characters together.
We'll figure it out. It'll have whatever.
Well, it's the magic of collaboration, right? It's because you're bringing people together with different skill sets, with different art languages, with different
ideas,
and there's something magical when that happens.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Especially when when an idea comes that someone presents and everybody gets excited about it. And I also love the what's the word?
Ebb and flow, maybe. That's 3 words.
Well, yeah, ebb and flow. Oh, here, I'll just give an example. Better yet. So let's make some stupid idea up. Let's say one of the artists said, let's go to a area where there's boarded up houses and paint smiley faces all over an abandoned house. Okay, that might be a fun art project. All we have to do is get used house paint and all meet together, and we can each, paint smiley faces all over this house. 20 of us could do it in an afternoon. The house will be a new piece of art on the street. But one of the other people says, great idea, I love it. But instead of smiling faces, why don't we say something about political? Let's make a statement. Now, that person would have never said that without the original idea, and it would have never changed without that person hearing the original idea.
Yeah.
So now it's evolving.
Yeah.
Then another person might say, why not?
Collaboration is good.
Yeah, another person might say, let's paint messages all over this house about, and what are we painting about? Maybe about anti-ICE or anti-Trump or who knows what.
Whatever it is, right?
Whatever it may be, or pro this or better the community. And so now all these ideas come forth. Now the members of the Church of Art might become excited by some of them. Oh, we love that idea. Now all the people that got together and said, we love that idea. They're now changing the course of this project just by saying we love that idea. They're part of it. They're part of the project. Without these people saying we love that idea may not happen. And so it evolves because of the community of our group. And everyone is responsible for making a project happen.
Yeah.
And anyway.
As we're rounding third, right? I have no idea because, listen, I don't have a watch, and nor do I, control my life based upon
Subscribe to the
time.
concept of time.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, none of us are wearing watches, and there's something that draws us together in addition to our creative spirit, and tipping back absinthe on a Tuesday night in
Which is
March of
delightful,
2026.
I have thoroughly enjoyed the absinthe.
Yeah, what a great ritual! What a great thing to bring us together. And listen,
Yeah.
I want to be 100% respectful of those folks who are living a sober life, right? Because we're not here advocating alcohol. We're here to advocating community, community,
And life and that which brings people together.
Yeah, and
Which alcohol is one.
yeah, and cooking is one. Which you do so cooking, comedy is one, discussions, and
games, cards, whatever people
And
need.
everybody wants to be part of something.
Yeah.
So it's like the Church of Art is just so fascinating to me. It's like, there's the social church piece, and then there's the art piece, which to me it's kind of more solo, but doesn't have to be.
as we kind of finish things up, I have no idea. I'm guessing we're talking for 45 minutes or an hour. Who knows? And maybe it's longer than that. So I'm gonna start with Virginia. I'm gonna end with Loren.
Mm-hmm.
Go over there.
You want me to start here?
Practice joke.
So the I'm gonna go back to the bucket list.
Mm-hmm.
What's one thing that you've done that you said this was a turning point or an important piece of my my journey, whatever that is?
Yeah.
And then the second part of the question is going to be what's left? What's in 2026, 27, 28 where you're like, there's one other. So this is something that was a milestone to Virginia, to Loren. Here's one other thing that's up ahead that I'm moving towards.
So a milestone for me in the performance piece was really important. For me, I brought I was really scared. You know how they talk about your knees are knocking together? First time I ever played a solo on stage, my knees were really knocking.
You said rhythm? Was that
the first time I ever played a solo?
Okay. Was that keyboards? You talk about keyboards?
I was
Okay,
a
keyboards
keyboard
at your
player.
house, right?
So I've got a pump going on the left, and I'm doing a solo on the right.
Wow.
And
Kind of
literally-
like Ray Manzarek, the Doors.
I remember Ray
literally,
Manzarek.
my
Yeah,
knees
yeah,
are
yeah,
hitting
yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
The guy gave me like 5 days. I'm like, well, I can't play it for you today, but I can probably play it for you tomorrow. And by 4 days later, he called out that song, first thing, second set. He didn't tell me, which was smart, because you build more fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, because a lot of it is facing a fear of failing or being laughed at or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
To go ahead and put your vision into physical manifestation,
Right, the public.
where others can hear it, others
Mhm.
can see it, or whatever your art form is. So that was a big deal for me, that performance piece. We can all do art. We all do art every moment in our life, and we either keep it in the house or we put it in the world. Want to put it in the world? There's a whole next people are going to be looking, people are going to be judging, that you have to separate yourself. That doesn't matter. This is what I'm doing. Everybody else is doing fine. Everybody else is going to, they might say, they might not. Presumably, if we want to get attention, then whatever they say is good because it's attention, whether it's negative or positive. I don't know. But you do have to, it's like in order to put it out there, you have to cut the cord of, oh, I could be judged as bad or something. Just let it be its own thing and go out there and let people, because they're all going to see it different.
You know, if I were to throw in a tattoo on my daughter's arm and a, you know, one of my life things, which is, you know, circle back to let it be, right? It's like, you know, it's a wonderful song, right?
And, you know, depending on where you
wrote
are.
that song? I'm just kidding.
Whenever, anyway, well, it's funny. I'm not a religious person, but my stepson saw sitting on the side of the road as a piece of trash a statue of the Mother Mary. It's about this big, and is now out on my hillside. Now the head tries to fall off all the time, and the coyotes come in the spring and try to play with whatever I've done to try to make the head stay. I don't know where that's going. But anyway, when I find myself in trouble, calls to me, right? So I don't know where did that all start.
So what we were talking about is you were talking about here's let me tell you my interpretation, right? I don't think in words, I think in images. So it's hard sometimes for me to translate to words what, you know, some of those thoughts or images that I see. But I think that what I was hearing, Virginia, is that as you were to look back, you said I had to have the courage to confront my fear, to push my art into the world, which is performance and artwork, right? It was music. Yeah. So it
is a confrontation of your fear.
Confrontation of your fear, and to push it out. Audience comes last. Just going. There might be 5 people. There might be 50 people. There might be 500 people. There might be 2,500 people watching.
It doesn't really matter. I mean,
it doesn't matter. The audience comes last.
Right. Well, and it's funny because my personal experience. When I was a youth, I played by myself. I was home by myself, alone, always. And then I could probably play that music, and then I got to play with others, and they're the people that I gave a shit about whether they were okay with what I was doing.
Right.
The audience was totally another thing. It's like I'm not scared of them. Am I gonna? You know, for me, it was, am I gonna? Will they still want to play with me tomorrow? You know, will you still love me tomorrow thing? I don't know. It's a funny. But the fear, that facing of that fear of putting yourself out there, that's.
Loren, I'm going to ask that same question. I'm going to go take a bath. But I'm going to ask that question. You're going to be live here talking to our audience. What is one of those things that you're like, this is something that was important and something that's still on my bucket list to your development?
All right. Well, I mentioned earlier that what was important was that I became a portrait artist. So I love that I did that, and I still love to paint and draw portraits. I one of the things, my interests are, what's the word? I spread my butter a little too thin. I have too many interests. But one of them now has become comedy. I am performing in live, and I've come a long way with it. I'm performing in front of live audiences. I've even been paid. I need to bring